Hey guys, in this video we're going to take a look at two examples of isometric drawing. Come from the book here. I'm going to start off with just this one here on the left. They're calling it a shampoo bottle. You have a rectangular prism, 80 long, 35 deep and 125 high with a semicircular top in it. In doing this we'll just see how we can deal with curves in isometric, and we'll see how we transfer from our regular curve in the elevation to our free-handed curve in the isometric. And also the second thing is transferring points to the back of the curve, to the back portion, and finishing off the curve at the top. Right. So there's a little bit to it, so getting to this back portion here and where to actually finish and show the end of your curve. That's the first one I'm going to do. The second one that you're going to do then on your own, you're going to go for this bridge here. So you'll do an isometric of that, and again you can face it to the left with the elevation, or you can face the elevation to the right with the arch showing left or right. That's up to yourself. And the third one then that I'm going to go through is just this one right here. So it's slightly more complex, but still nothing majorly difficult about it. We're going to be bringing in this one. There's step backs from the front surface, which we've come across before, and there's sloped surfaces, and there's obviously curves as well. So I'll work through two, and you're going to do one here on your own as well. I should be able to fit my two drawings on the one page. Maybe you will. Maybe you'll fit all three. See how you get on. To start, I'm going to keep it over at the left hand side of my page. I'll start off with my 3 lines, my crow's foot, and I might need just a part of an elevation. So you're going to need an elevation for a lot of yours, so maybe draw the elevation first. I might just draw the full elevation. I'm not going to draw the plan. Draw the elevation first, and that will allow us to break up the circle and see all our sizes. The elevation for this is 80 wide, 125, and then with a radius top. I'll drop this elevation down here, down low. And you'd actually, for this and possibly even for the next one, probably just get away. If it was a full question we'd be doing, we'd obviously follow what they'd ask on the question, and if they asked to draw the full plan and elevation, we'd do it. But in this case, you'd actually get away with just drawing the semicircle only, without the main body. Now I'm going to just drop it in anyway. I won't take an extra minute, but this portion of the main body here probably isn't necessary. Nevertheless, it won't take long. So that's 125 high and it's 80 wide. That means at the top is a radius of 40. And now I'm ready for the isometric. Actually not sure now. I don't know if I'll fit the full thing of the second drawing in the page, but we'll see. We'll try. The only dimension I don't have there, so that's 80, that's 125 into the center then, and it's a radius 40 up top, and the depth of the object is 35 mil. So when I'm setting up my crow's foot here, I'll keep it close to the object, and I'll just make sure I have 35 mil there on the left side. And I need 80 or more here on the right side. 125 or more going up. So I'm going to put this elevation inclined 30 degrees here on the right side. Up my height of 125. Light line there on the construction work, and my depth of object is 35. Now I'm going to drop in a couple of those lines heavy with my H pencil. And now I'm ready. I've moved on. I've the full main body done right up to this line here, and I need to add in the circle next. A couple of things you could do here, I suppose. You could first off just draw a center line up through, which gives me the top of that circle there, and I can just box the circle in if I wanted to start, and at least that will get me a total height. Now I know that the height is 40, so what I could do is just transfer the height using the compass, just to get in a good habit for this. So taking the height from the center point up to the top right there, and I'm going to have to apply that same height over here. There's 40 into the center. As I said, just for a good habit here, take our height and apply. I'm going to box in the top of it just like I did here. So I boxed in across and back down here. So the semicircle is going to fit within that box that I've just drawn there. It's going to be a freehand curve that starts here on the left. We're going to have to get some points along the way. It'll touch this top point, it'll come back down here on the right. That top point is on the front face, which means it also must be on the back face. So I can just transfer that back. I get my point here at the back. Now along the way, I need to plot out some more points, and those points are going to give me a couple of extra positions so that my freehand curve will be more accurate. And you can plot these out any way you want. You can plot them out completely random if you feel like it, or you can go 60 degrees, 30 degrees to give you 2 points. What is this? This is 40 mil. So if it's 40, I'm actually going to go tens. I've got 10 millimeter widths. Just give me, if I go 30 and 60 degrees, it just gives me 2 points. If I go 10, 20, 30, it gives me 3 points. And there's a long area here, so I prefer to have 3 points. So at each of those points right there, just project up, hit the curve. Okay, they're all tens. Now what I do notice is that there's quite a large curve there now freehanded in. I'm going to drop in one more point at 5 from the end. That's probably a bit unnecessary. Once again, just trying to show you that it's a versatile question. You can solve this using any method you want. Now, if you just went 60 and 30 degrees, found a point and dropped, that would be absolutely fine. What do I have now? I have 1, 2, 3 and 4 there, and here on the right side, or shall I work through the centre, there's 5 in the centre, 6, 7, 8, 9 points in total there, plus of course the ends. Now what we will notice is this: number 1 is the same height as number 9, much the same anyway, number 2 and number 8. So they do pair up. 3 and 7 are going to be the same height, and the reason for that is they're the same distance out from the centre, and 4 and 6. So when you're going on a symmetrical curve, your heights are going to match up. I need to find the points 1 to 9. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 5 right there. 6, 7, 8 and 9. I need to find those points laid here on the centre line first. Easiest way to do this is just work out from the centre point 5, because I have that above there in the isometric. So distance from 5 to 1 is the same as the distance from 5 to 9. There's 9, there's 1. Moving in to point 2 and 8, into 3, that's 7 there, that's 3, and finally just a 10mm distance out to number 4 and 6. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 and 9. Last thing I need is the respective heights of each of these points. So we project up those lines, and then we start taking our heights. I'll start off here with number 1, the lowest, and mark it down to 1, and it also matches up with 9. Moving up to number 2, mark it down to 2, mark it down to 8. Number 3, on to 3, 7. Number 4, marks onto 4 and 6. Let's project on number 6 a little further. Now, that is the front portion of the curve, so I could freehand in all of those now. What I'm going to do, just before I freehand all those in, I'm going to map those points to the back of the object. You have 2 options here. First, some people love this method. That is the baseline for the curve, right there on the front of the shape. If I can find that same baseline on the back of the shape, then I can bring my heights back, draw the lines and project. It's a very handy way to do it. So it goes left to the right by 30 degrees from that point, and that's through the center of the curve, and that is here. So the same line on the back of the object is there now. How long is it? Well, it's just going to go back and get hit here. That is, so I've just basically establishing the back corner. It lines up here with this guy, so it's the back corner of the object that we cannot actually see. So here's what you could do. Bring point 1, the base point, back onto the line. Draw the vertical like this. And then bring the correct point 1 on the curve onto that vertical. So you're transferring the line to the back of the object. So that's going to become a point on the curve. If that makes sense, then you can do that for all of them. You can bring point 2 back, up, and transfer. So that doesn't make sense, but what you could do is just this. You take just the correct point on the curve of 3 and the 4 and so on, and just take those back. You can, what's the thickness of this is 35, I think. You can just mark from the points 35. So whatever you are more comfortable with, whichever method you like. Some people love this one. Up to yourself. I'm going to continue on now and take 2 or 3 more points back. And I'll just stop there. What you'll find is when I freehand in this front curve here, it's between those 2 points someplace. I'll just have to wait and see on that one now and see exactly where I should be finishing up here with my back curve. But that's a lot of points got there. Time to freehand. And what is acceptable here is just to go to the outside furthest point here and just take it back. So on the external of your curve here, so go out as far as you can go and just take it back. There's no need to be finding tangency points or anything like that. So from the external of your curve here, take it back. It actually works in quite nicely there. That's our first question finished. What I want you to do now, I want you to give a go at this question right here, number 2, the bridge. So it's going to be very, very similar to that one, and you'll probably do it a little bit faster now that you've practiced one. Now for this next question that I'm going to do with you, it's from your book, page 133, and it's the first exercise here at the top. So bringing in curves and slopes. I'll just start off by drawing the elevation again. I'll keep it down low. I think this one will fit actually on the page, so I'll keep this elevation down as low as I possibly can. So 120 long and 15 high for the first section. There's the 120 by 15. Then I'm stepping up, excuse me, stepping up 35 millimeters here on the left, or on the right, sorry, 35 millimeters plus the 15. And I'm stepping in 30 here on the left. So up 35. So I'll just do the combined total, which will be 50. And on the left hand side here in 30. And there's a 60-degree slope flowing into the horizontal. And because of the change in depth, the base is deeper than the slope part is deeper than the curve. We have a solid line everywhere along. Now, what does that leave me with? I think that's uneven. Yeah, that's an uneven number. I don't know what that is. It's not working out, so I'm going to bisect that line that just remains there. My mistake. It's a 60. Sorry, there's the line here is about 67 or 68 millimeters, but the curve is radius 30 or diameter 60. There's my radius 30. So the curve stops short of the edge. I thought it was going all the way out there. And that's the elevation done. The 3 depths, so it's a 70 total depth. So on this base portion here, that's going to be 70 deep. The second block is 50 deep. And finally, this guy up here at the top is only 30. I'm going to start off here. I'll draw my cross first again. And I'm going to, I have a habit of just putting them this way, drawing the elevation on the right hand side. So I'll keep doing that. So the elevation here on the right. So I'll just make sure wherever I start, I'll have enough space for the elevation to go around the right. And just pick my point anywhere here. There's my 3 lines to start. If you prefer, you can take all of your measurements with the compass and transfer them rather than measuring again. So that's a personal preference really, if that's what you'd like to do. So there's the total length of the base. And then we have the height of the base. When you are dealing with objects that have different depths, just like these do, there's 3 different depths involved in this question. It's best not to draw the full elevation here. Just draw the elevation of the portion that's out at the front of the object first. So this is the only face that's right out at the front of the object. And that body, I can see this from the book, is 70 millimeters deep. I'll drop in the back corner even though it's not all going to be visible. Next, I want to add this guy here onto it. The total length is just there. So it's whatever the total is less than 30. Now I can do this back here at the back of the object, which would make sense. Or I can do it at the front. Some people might find it a little bit easier to understand. Or I could do it down the baseline. It is completely up to yourself. So I'll just do it there. You know what? I'll do it on the base, just in case someone does do this and doesn't know how to deal with that measurement. If you do it on the base, which I wouldn't really recommend, but you transfer it up first and then back along the surface. So stepping it on the baseline or the top line or the back line can all achieve the very same result. It's 50 millimeters deep from the back of the object working out. It's 50. That's going to give me a solid line here. Actually, I can finish off the base now as well, but I measured solid there. Third solid line and fourth. And now I can project up with this. That point goes up, and I think it was 35 millimeters. To the top. I'm going to box it in, and I know there's two slope lines here at the front of it, but I'm just going to box the whole thing in for now and figure out how to do the slopes after. So I can take that 35 height, I can work it down and box in the corner and the back of it. Once I've that done, then I need to have a look and see, right, there was a 60-degree angle from this point working up, but because everything has now turned up at 30 degrees each way, I can't take angles. So what I can do is this, I can take distances. So how far in does the 60-degree angle take me? It's that distance there. Let's just say the distance between those orange lines that I'm wondering about. So how much is actually cut off the object or off the corner? I can just take it here. It's the distance from the outer point to the inner point of this slope. Here, I can mark it from outer to inner. So I'm just transferring the width. So what was the result of the cut? How wide? And there it was. And I can transfer it up. That can all be heavied in now. So that's the slope. That's the top edge of the slope right here. And then you'll join the dots from the top of the slope down to the bottom. From the top to the bottom there. And then we're on to the final part, which is building up this semicircular curve here at the back, and it works out along by, what is it, 30 millimeters. So I'm going to measure out 30 to begin. I'll take the total width of my curve here. Which is 60. Just mark that. I get two solid lines. So that's out 30 from the corner and across by the diameter, which is 60. And also heavy end in the portion of that second block that still remains. Now I need to build up a rectangular block on top of this object, so we'll just do the rectangular prism on top first, and then we will start breaking it down and finding points on the curve. The height here is going to be 30. I might just take that. Take that just like the last time from here as a radius. I'm going to transfer that same point actually, the center point here, just transfer that up to the top. So that is a total of 60, and at 30 millimeters there gives me the center. And that's the same point there now, the point of coordinates for this guy. So in halfway and up by what I set the compass to the radius. So I measure in 30, that's halfway in that baseline, and strike off that mark using the compass. Trying to box it in, so through that top point, it just happens to line up there with the back of the object. That is okay. Through that top point there, I'll draw all my 30 and 60 degree and basically box in the top of this portion of the semi-cylinder. Now I'm going to just apply the very same logic as I did last time. Last time actually I did quite a large curve. This time it's much smaller, so I'm gonna use the 30-60 method this time rather than putting all these points in. Make it a bit faster. So go off 30 degrees and 60 degrees and split this up into a number of parts. And then just to recognize what those parts are doing for me, well, they're just giving me these vertical lines. Let's switch over colors here. They're giving me these little positions of points and these vertical lines which I need to transfer up there after. So there's one left and right which will match up in height, and there's these two taller guys in towards the center which will also match up in height. Use the very same method as before. I'll take the distance out from the center. I'll start off, there's a point on the left and on the right that will copy onto each other. Just take care setting the compass, we want this to be accurate. There's one there on the left and one on the right. And then there's two remaining points. And that gives me 4 base points. I can now draw these pink lines from. And the final step will be to match the heights from the elevation onto the isometric. So the height of this low guy will match up with this one here. So that's one on the left, one on the right, and the height of this higher one again matches up this one here. One left, one on the right. Transferring to the back of the object now is next. I like to do that, as I said, I like to transfer before I start freehanding in case I lose the points in the freehand. Now, as I said as well, you can also take the base of your line back and up and then transfer the point. Whatever you are happier to do, either method will work just fine. And you can just do what I'm doing here. I'm going to transfer all the points, even to this back one here. Yeah, that's not really necessary, but it might come in handy. The depth of this top area is here. I'll just transfer all points onto the other projections. That one's done. Then time to freehand in curves. If you were finished the drawing, like I am now actually, best thing to do is take off. If this is your very last thing to do, just take off that page and move it around to whatever orientation you're happy with. That means you can do a much nicer, cleaner freehand curve. Now on the back one there, that point, I'm going to just use it because I want to kind of come out with my curve like it did here. It comes out, I want to come out and over. Then I'll go heavy from there. I wasn't actually finished with that tape, was I? No, but I won't stick it on again, but I'll just set up my 30 degrees again, line up the sheet, just good there, and I'll run out to the external point of the curve around here someplace and just match it in with the one at the back. And make sure that that flows in now. And that's the question complete. So there's two nice isometric questions there, and you'll have done your third one on your own. And thanks very much for watching.